Good evening, guys. All of you, good evening. Shall we start the session? Yes, guys. So, guys, in the last session, we discussed some points about the Django REST framework, guys. So, advantages of Django REST framework we started in the last session. Okay. So far, we discussed about these points. To learn this Django REST framework, we required Python language and Django framework related knowledge. And each Django framework and Django REST framework both are same or different. We discussed, guys. So Django framework is different. Django REST framework is different. DRF is an extension concept of the Django framework. It means all the concepts which are available in the Django, those all are available in the Django REST framework, plus some extra modules or extra classes or extra methods available in this Django REST framework. Because of these all extra new modules or classes or methods, so reducing lot of burden on developer while writing the programs. So instead of writing more lines of code, very less lines code we can write using the Django REST framework related free-defined classes. So that's why nowadays this Django REST framework is getting more demanding for developing the APIs. We can developing the REST APIs by using the different concepts, guys, different frameworks. So using the Django REST framework, if we are developing lot of burden reducing on developer while developing the APIs, and also while writing coding, guys. So less lines of code we are writing, obviously performance of the application increasing and the development time okay decreasing, guys. So simply duration of the project decreasing and the cost of the project decreasing and performance of the application increasing, like several benefits there. So that's why this REST API is getting demanding nowadays. So simple thing, guys, using Django, we can developing the APIs to do the CRUD operation. So for that, more than 100 lines of code required. And also, along with Python and Django knowledge, UI technologies knowledge also required for creating form, for updating form, for deleting, for accessing data related HTML, CSS, Bootstrap. Like there's all combination knowledge also required in the Django. Without knowing single line of UI code, without knowing the single line of HTML code or CSS or Bootstrap related these all things. So in Django, ready-madely we are getting those all things. So less than 10 lines of code we are writing to performing the CRUD operation related APIs, to developing the CRUD operation related APIs. So these all things I explained, guys. Just I'm giving revision. So slowly we will introduce all the things. So simply advantages of Django REST framework, guys. First feature is Django REST framework is providing browsable API concept. It means from the browser only we can send the request, guys. Here URL request we can send and we are getting the response. So by default from the browser, get request we can send. Get request we can send. And if you want to create, guys, for example, employee number related, employee name related, salary related, like some fields also generating, and one post button also there. By clicking this post button, we can create the new data. So these ready-made templates we are not developing, Django REST framework only providing. This is called browsable API concept. Got it? Yes. So using the Django REST framework, guys, less lines of code we are writing within the less time we are writing, and the duration of the project decreasing, readability increasing, and complexity decreasing, guys. Obviously, performance of the application increasing, guys. So like several benefits there, and moreover, reducing lot of burden on the developer. So that is also one of the benefit using Django REST framework. And another one is built-in serializer support there, guys. Serializers, what is the use of serializers? So to do conversion, guys, from one type data into another type is called serialization. Simply using the serializers one type to another type, we can do conversion. So database query set objects data converting into dictionary format, we required serializers. Again, JSON data converting into dictionary format, we required serializers. So both bidirectional guys. So query set into dictionary, dictionary into JSON, or else JSON into dictionary, dictionary into query set. So we are calling serializers. Using the serializers, we can do this conversion. Okay, see. So this query set into dictionary and then this dictionary into JSON. Using the serializers, we can do. And also same thing, JSON into dictionary, dictionary into JSON query set is also can do by serializers. Django also providing the serializers, guys, and the Django REST framework also providing the serializers. Using Django serializers module, if we want to do more than 100 lines required, using Django REST framework serializers, so within the less than 10 lines we can develop. So that is the biggest advantage of using Django REST framework serializers. So in our session, using pure Django, how we are developing APIs, using the REST API related serializers, how we are developing the APIs. So these all things I will show you guys. Slowly I will show you. Okay? Yes. So, Karthik, please keep mute your speaker. Karthik. Yes, guys. So if you are enabling your speakers, guys, a lot of noise will come. So in your local, some disturbances may be there. So all noise will come and others will disturb. So yes, remember. And we have a big session for serializers concept. There I will explaining more clearly how we are converting one type to another type. These all things, guys. And one more process is one more benefit is built-in security classes there, guys. Built-in security classes there. Django REST framework providing the built-in security classes. Using these security classes, we can performing the authentication and authorization behaviors to the APIs. So authentication means a valid person or not to use this API like that. Authorization means having permissions or not to do particular operation. So who can use our APIs, who cannot use, and what can do using our APIs, what cannot do. These all things using the built-in or else pre-defined classes we can do it. Got it? So for example, basic authentication, token authentication, session authentication, and third-party modules related, real-time related authentications also there, guys. So one by one, we will discuss. So 1 week sessions, we are discussing about the APIs only, security related only. So token authentication means like this, random alphanumeric string as random alphanumeric string generating. So every time along with our API, this string value also we are sending this random token value also we are sending based on this token value. So user is a valid user or not, having permission or not, validating. So this is for more security reason we can use, guys. And also extensive documentation there, guys. Extensive documentation. So if you want to read about the Django REST framework more in-depth wise, concept wise, then huge documentation there for the REST API, then we can get it, guys. Understanding? So almost, guys, official websites for Python learning, for Django learning, for Django REST framework, or for Java, for any language. So most of the times, official websites you are not understanding more easily. So a lot of complexity there, guys. So they are explaining about one concept, a heading giving. So 4 5 lines theory explaining. And for more information, click on this link, like link giving. If you are clicking here, somewhere you are going. So again, here some lines of data giving. Click here for more information giving. So again, we are going to somewhere like that. So from where we are coming to where, this actual path also we are forgetting. So, so link continuation links are not there, guys. So that's why getting some difficulty using official websites. So we have these so many articles related to the REST API, guys. Using those things, you will get the subject. And I created many PDF files, guys. Many files I created, our topic wise related. So I will say those all things, including the diagrams. Then concept by concept, you can make it, and you will get the good subject knowledge. Okay. And use community support also there, guys. So use community support also there. For example, when we are doing the coding, we are getting sometimes the problems. So our problems related solutions we can get from the forums, communities. So Stack Overflow site is one of the best forum. There we can get lots of solutions for our problems. For our problems. So like several benefits there, guys, using the Django REST framework. So that's why the Django REST framework is getting more demanding nowadays. Got it? So when we want to work with APIs, guys, when we want to send the request and want to get the response, first of all, we need to know about the HTTP methods, purpose of the HTTP methods. So we have the different HTTP methods. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So whenever we are sending the request, in that request only, we are sending the information. I want to get data, or I want to create data, or I want to update data, or I want to delete data like that. So these informations also we are sending, guys. And according to that, we are getting the response. So sending the request, guys, sending the request to the server and getting the response, guys. So from the browser, nothing but from the client, we are sending the request and we are getting the response. Okay. Yes. See, guys, this is one application. This is one application. So one is a client application. One is a server application. So client app is nothing but browser, and then server app, guys. Server app is nothing but our Facebook or YouTube or WhatsApp. Like these all are called server applications, guys. So server side applications. So from the browser, guys, sending the request and getting the response, guys. So this is we are doing regularly. From the browser, we are sending the request, we are getting the response. So from the client application, whenever we are sending the request, whenever we are sending the request, now this request is receiving by the server, and processing this request, generating the response related to this request, guys, and return this response back to the client. Return this response back to the client, guys. Okay. So from the client, we are sending the request and we are getting the response. The application which is sending the request and getting the response is called a client application. And next, the server related, guys. The application which is receiving the request, processing the request, generating the response for request, and return that response back to the client application is called a server application. So server applications, guys, interacting to the database, guys. Server applications are interacting to the database. So MySQL DB is there here. And now here some records data is there, guys. Some records data is there. Like this there. So from the client application sending the request to get these all records. So now that request the server sending to the database, and according to that getting records. And now these all records in the form of response sending to the client. So always the server application interacting to the database, guys. Database. So these all things in our class practically we will do it, guys, coding wise. So here sometimes when you are attending the interview, so what is client application, what is server application, how we interacting client and servers, how we are getting the response, like these all general terms they may ask. First of all, you need to have this all knowledge. Okay, next, guys, here whenever we want to send the request, whenever we want to send the request from the client to server, so along with this request, guys, so these HTTP methods information we are passing along with request. Inside this request, this requested methods information also there. HTTP request we are sending, HTTP response we are getting. So in this HTTP request, we are using these HTTP methods. So from the browser by default, whenever we are sending the request, that is a get request for getting the data. And if you want to post, then by using the postman tool or from the other application or from the create form, nothing but post form, we can submit the data, guys. Got it? Okay. So in this request, guys, logics there. In this request, logics there. If I'm sending the get request from the client, so inside the server, we are writing logics internally. If request, in this request, we have a method attribute, guys. So if request dot method double equal to get, then do something, guys. Then do something logics. If requested method is a post, guys, so in this request object, we have the method attribute using this get information we are getting. Get double equal to get, then we are executing some lines. If the requested method is post, guys, post double equal to post, one more condition we are writing. So if it is post, then do something, creating related logics. Like lot of conditional based logics we are writing using pure Django, guys. But if we are using the Django REST framework, then no need of writing these all conditional based queries, guys, conditional based requests. Simply no need to check the conditional branching. Requested method is get or post or put or delete like that. No need to check it. In our Django REST framework, we are going to use predefined classes, guys. In DRF, predefined. Predefined means along with this Django REST framework, we are getting some classes. So using those classes, automatically identifying requested method is get or else is post or else is put like that, automatically understanding by predefined classes, guys. So this is also one of the best benefit by using Django REST framework. So that's why reducing lines of code, guys, because of using these predefined classes. Come on, guys, are you understanding this diagram and this flow structure? Okay. So simply remember, get is for getting data from the database. Post is for creating new data into the database. Put is for updating the data into the database, guys. So using put, fully we are updating in my object. If I'm having multiple fields like employee number, employee name, salary, then I want to be update the salary field only, guys. I want to be update the only salary related value. So instead of 10,000, I want to do 15,000 change, guys. So here I need to pass this employee number value also, guys. Employee number value also need to be passed. So just the syntax, guys, this one, not exact code. So employee number is 10 like that. Okay. So one dictionary format we are giving as a dictionary or JSON format depending on the requirement. So like a key column value, key column value, key column value we are writing. Got it? So here existing data 10,000 there I want to do to converting like changing to 15,000. Changing to 15,000. So instead of sending only this field, these all require or these all another fields also we are sending which are available in the object. So if 10 fields there is like employee number, employee name, salary, address, mobile number, first name, last name, company name, like several fields there in one object. Out of 10 fields, guys, just two fields data I want to do update. Out of 10 fields, only two fields data I want to be update. In that situation, if we are using the put method, so remaining 8 fields also, guys, remaining the 8 fields data also, we need to send with the same existing data. So this is all making a lot of burden, guys, when sending the request. So in that situation, if we are using the patch method, so which two fields we want to update, only those two fields in the form of JSON, we can send the data. So remaining 8 fields, existing fields data only using. So then obviously making the fast performance, guys. API request executing fastly. Okay. And if we want to delete, guys, delete related operations, if we want to do delete request, we are using. So like these all HTTP methods we are using as when we are working with APIs concept, request sending and response getting process, these all we are using. And along with these all things, some third party modules also required, third party modules. So in Django only you are getting, in Python only you are getting as So third party modules means what, how we are installing, like that. So I will take care of those all things, so don't worry. Dear students, following so far? Yes. Now, some general terms we will use, guys, which we are using in the Django REST framework regularly. In our Django REST framework, regularly we are using some general terms. So first we will discuss about those terminologies. And later, types of APIs there, guys. Using the JSON we can develop, using XML we can develop. So which one is a better one? What is the difference? These things we need to be complete. Once completing these two topics, then programmatically I will show you installation of the Django, and after installing how we are adding the settings, and then programmatically discussing. Okay. Yes. Now, so general terms, guys. In DRF, we can use some terms regularly, guys. So about that we will discuss. Okay, simply directly I'll give you the names. So regularly we are calling API, guys. API. So we are using REST, and we are using the REST API, guys. And we are using the web service name. Web service, guys. Web service. Okay. What is API? What is the REST? What is the REST API? What is web services? What is the web services? And what is provider? What is the provider app? What is the provider application, guys, simply? And what is consumer application? What is consumer application? And what is partner, guys? What is a partner application? So these are general terms we need to know it, guys, first of all. These are general terms, guys. Clear that? So now first one, guys, API. So API stands for Application Programming Interface, guys. API stands for Application Programming Interface. And using this, what we can do, we'll see. So API stands for application, guys. Application Programming Interface. Application Programming Interface. If we want to access the functionality of one application from another application, or from the end user, okay, or from the end user, then we need one interface, guys. That interface is called as API. If we want, okay, I'll write the definition. If we want to access, guys, if we want to access the functionality, if we want to access the functionality of one application from another application, guys, from one application, okay, if we want to access the functionality of one application from the another application, or from the end user, guys, or from the end user, then we need one interface. Nothing but one mediator, guys. Then we need one interface. So that interface is called that interface, or that mediator is called, guys. That interface is called as API. That interface is called as API. Clear that? So now see here. Okay, guys. So here I have one API, guys, one application. So I have another application here. So from this application, whenever we want to send the request and we want to get the response, so we require one interface. That interface is called as API. So for example, here one API is there, guys. So here what is the API? How to designing these APIs later you will understand. So now from the application, So we are sending the request. That request is reaching to application one, guys. Simply this is application one, and this is application two. And next, this application giving the response, guys. And now this response are sending to the application two. So from one application to another application communication purpose, we required one mediator. That mediator is called API. API stands for Application Programming Interface, which contains a collection of classes and methods, guys. In this API, so contains the collection of classes and methods logics. And finally, we are creating like one URL. By sending that URL, we can do these all things. So application one and application two both are softwares, guys. So if one software wants to interact with another software, then API is required. API interface is required, guys. And here one human being person there, guys. So one human being person there. So if human being persons wants to interact with this software, guys, if they want to interact with this software, then they required GUI menus, guys. They required what? GUI menus. GUI means graphical user interface. So this user sending the request, this request using the GUI interacting to our application and getting the response back. And now this response can see by the user. Simply from the human being person or simply user, guys. From the if user wants to interact with software, then GUI presentation required. The GUI presentation using the Django framework we can design using the Django framework, guys, with the UI technologies. And when one software interacting or else when one software wants to interact with another software, then required APIs, guys. So in this application too only writing the lines of logics, guys. Lot of lines code writing. Somewhere here API calling we are using. API we are using. Application one related API we are using. Then immediately from this communicating to this application one, getting that response back. Got it? So this is about the API concept. Clear that? Guys, are you understanding? Diagram and all the things. So if it is a software application, guys, so then we use API communication. We use API for communication purpose. And if it is a user to interact with one software, then we can use a GUI, guys. So these points you can remember. And the next, what is the use of API? So if two different kind of applications will communicate to each other using the APIs, guys. So why required to communicating two applications means for exchanging the information between them, for exchanging the data between them, then softwares interacting to each other, guys. Applications are interacting to each other. So for that purpose, API is required. So what is the use of APIs communication means? So from one application to another application, it may be some data exchanging or some data transferring. For that purpose, apps communication required. To do that apps communication, API is required. Got it? So remember, guys. Next, one concept called web API is there, guys. Web API. So nowadays, guys, all people are using smart mobiles, guys. Mobiles using. In our mobile, hundreds of applications installed, guys. In our mobile, lots of applications installing. These all applications are dividing like two types of static applications and web applications we are calling. Some applications are comes under the static application. Some applications are comes under the web application. So what are the examples of the static application means? For example, calculator software, calendar software, contact software. These all are comes under the static applications, which means without internet, guys, without internet, we can use these applications. The applications which we are using without internet are called as static applications. For example, calculator software, contact software, and the calendar software. Okay, alarm software, like these all things without internet we can use, guys. And next, web applications. The applications which we are using with the internet based only, with the internet only, then those applications we are calling like web applications, guys. For example, we are using YouTube, guys. With the internet only we are using YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook, and Gmail, guys. Phone Pay, Google Pay, these all are with the internet only we are using. Understanding these applications called web applications. So the APIs which we are designing for static applications communication purpose, then those APIs called normal APIs. And the APIs which we are designing for web application communication purpose, then we can call them as web APIs. Simply, web application interaction purpose, we are designing the APIs called as web API. Understanding? So our Google Pay app communicating to the Phone Pay app communicating to the Google Pay. So how these all communicating means via the web APIs communicating. So this all are looks like same only, guys. Small point only changing. When you are attending the interview, all questions at a time not asking. Any one question asking. For all the question, you need to tell only one diagram. So one application to another application communication purpose required mediator. That mediator is nothing but API. So for web application purpose, this is a web application. For this web application purpose, if I'm developing the API, then we are calling web API. For static application purpose, if we are developing the APIs called normal APIs. So that general term only, guys, that one. And now REST, guys. This is important terminology for us. Our concept name only, our course name only, Django REST framework. What is REST? Okay. First of all, REST stands for what? REST. REST stands for representational, guys. Representational state transfer. REST stands for representational, guys. RE means representational. S means state. T means transfer, guys. Okay, this is abbreviation. I will tell about that abbreviation. So REST stands for representational state transfer, guys. REST is an architecture. REST is an architectural style for building the web APIs, guys. REST is an architectural style for building the APIs. So REST defines several guidelines and rules, guys. This REST defines the several guidelines and rules to developing the APIs. Okay, if we want to developing the APIs, so this REST providing some guidelines or rules. By using those guidelines and rules, we are developing the APIs. Then those APIs we can call them as REST APIs. Simply, the APIs which we are designing by using the REST principles, then those APIs we are calling the REST APIs. So we have this SOAP principle, guys. The APIs which we are designing by using the SOAP principles, then we can call them as SOAP-based APIs. RESTful based APIs, SOAP-based APIs, like two types of APIs there. Later I will tell about that. So the APIs which we are designing by using the REST principles, then we can call them as REST APIs. And the APIs which we are designing by using the SOAP principles, then we can call them as SOAP-based APIs. Come on, guys, is this understanding? What is the REST principles? So what is the SOAP principles? Later, slowly we'll understand. First of all, terminologies you need to be follow it. Okay, initial 3 days, guys, all the terms only you are getting. And by using these all terms, then we can develop it. So we need to start somewhere and slowly we need to go in depth. So why this name came like, why we are calling like a representational state transfer? Why this REST stands for representational state transfer? So some people asking us, some people asking. So here, this is one application. This is one application. So for example, this is a browser. and this is a server, guys. Simply client. So this is a client, guys. Client app, and this is a server. Okay, wait. Browser, guys, and a server and database. Database. So always a server interacting to database, getting the database. Simply assumption, MySQL DB, some records there. Now this is what? Server application, server app. Using Python and Django, we are designing. And this is a client app. So client app is nothing but browser, guys. So from the browser, when sending the request, we are getting the response, guys. So this communication every day we are performing. Got it? So here we are sending the request, guys. Here we are sending the request via the URL format. So in the browser URLs we are sending API URL we are sending, guys. API URL we are sending API URL assumption. So whenever we are sending the request from the client application to the server application, in this request only we are representing in this request only what we want to do. That is, we are representing in this request only, guys. Understanding? So representational state transfer means whenever we are sending the request, in this request only we are representing what kind of response I want. I want a response in the form of JSON, guys. Simply JSON response I want, like we are representing. So how representing, later you will understanding. So whenever we are sending the request, we are getting the response. In this request only, we are representing what kind of response we want. So that response transferring, guys. So request and response from the application to application transferring. So we are sending the request, we are getting the response, means some data transferring from server to client, from the server to client, from the client to server request transferring, from the server to client response transferring. And state means behavior, guys. State means behavior. What we want, that state information also we are giving in this request. I want to get the data, all records data. I want to create a new record into DB. I want to update this existing record. That state information also we are giving. When we are sending the request only, what we want to do, that state information also we are giving. So that's why REST simply called as like a representational state transfer. This process is called like representational state transfer. It means at the time of sending the request only, we are giving the information, we are giving the state of the information, what we want to do in the server side, and we are transferring the data between the applications. Got it? Yes, guys. In the server, guys, multiple resources there, guys. Resource 1, resource 2, resource 3, resource 4, like that. Where every resource is nothing but one URL, guys. Where every resource is nothing but one URL. So from the client application sending the requested URL. So this requested URL is matching or not with this one, checking. Okay. If it is matching for this resource, using this resource, guys, so we are getting something data from the database. So then we are getting this something response. For example, if I'm sending the Facebook request, then Facebook server executing. In the server side, multiple applications there, where every application is called like one resource. So server Facebook related page we are getting. If sending YouTube page, we are getting response. If sending Gmail request, then Gmail page we are getting as a response. Hence, for every request, one resource available in the server, that corresponding resource accessing and displaying in the browser. If resource not available, then error message is showing, exception showing. So resource not found or page not found, like showing, guys. Clear that? So remember, so in the server side, we're going to be creating different resources, and those resources related requests we are sending the from browser, guys. We are sending from the browser. Got it? Yes. REST is an architectural style, guys. REST is an architectural style for building APIs, guys. For building the web APIs simply. REST is an architectural style for building the web APIs. So, so REST defines several guidelines, guys. REST defines several guidelines. Guidelines are principles, guys. Guidelines are principles to developing APIs more easily. To developing the APIs more easily, guys. Got it? And the APIs which we are designing using the REST guidelines, guys. The APIs which we are designing, the APIs which we are designing, guys, using REST principles. REST principles. The APIs which we are designing by using the REST principles are guidelines, so are called as REST APIs. This is the terminology. REST APIs are using the HTTP protocol, guys. REST APIs are using the HTTP protocols. HTTP protocols. HTTP protocols means using the HTTP methods, we are sending the request, guys. Okay. So REST APIs are also called as RESTful APIs, guys. REST APIs are also called as RESTful APIs or RESTful web services, guys. REST APIs are also called as RESTful APIs or RESTful web services. Clear that terminology? Okay. Next. So web service, guys. So this is also simple terminology only, guys. Web service provider, web service provider. The application which is providing the services related to web application, guys. The application which is providing the services to the web application related, then that application, then those services we are calling web services, guys. Simply web services. The application which is providing the web services is called as web service provider, and service is nothing but APIs only, guys. Simply I'll write provider. Now the application which is providing as the application which is providing web service, guys. Web services. The application which is providing the web services is called as web service provider, guys. Web service provider. This is the terminology. So what is web service provider? Like asking the application which is providing some services related to web application, then that application is called as web service provider. Simply, now we can discuss a provider application terminology, guys, and consumer application. So provider application and consumer application. See, guys, this is one application and this is one application. So now this application one, guys, providing the APIs. So using these APIs, we can interact with this database, guys. So MySQL there, guys. Here's some records there. Using these APIs, guys, so we can send the request, we can get the response. Now these APIs from this application to people can send API request and will get the response, guys. Understanding? So application one is providing the APIs. So the application which is providing the APIs for the other application purpose is called provider application. Simply which application is providing the APIs to the other application communication, we can call them as a provider application. And next, the application which is consuming the APIs. So here we are writing the lines of code, guys. Lot of lines code we are writing. Somewhere we are using APIs of the application one. APIs we are using, and then again logics we are getting as logics we are writing. So simply somewhere we are using API. Because of this API, this app to app communication is possible. So simply sending the request, guys, sending the request and getting the response back. So this response now coming to here. Later this response we can use here. Clear that? So from which application we are sending the request, guys? So that is called client application simply. And here the which application using the APIs of other application is called consumer application. Simply this application two consuming the APIs of application one or utilizing the APIs of application one, then we can call them as a consumer application. And one more terminology is partner, guys. Partner app. So guys, you and me are else two people, user one and user two, doing business each other, guys. Doing business with each other. So user one is a partner of the user two. User two is also a partner of the user one. Same like here, this provider application and the consumer application. So communicating to each other. So when we are working with this one, guys, when we are working with this application two, application one is our provider application. When we are working in this application one, application two is the our partner application, guys. Simply application two is our partner application. So when we are working in application one, application two is our partner. When working in application two, application one is our partner, guys. So where we are working and to which application we are communicating, that is our partner application. So these all are general terms. Depending on the requirement, we can use these terminologies. Clear so far? So far, all the people understanding? Okay. So these all terms, guys, available in the material. Clearly, you can understanding when you are reading. So, and in the chat box, guys, given the registration details. So please follow the registration details, guys, if you want to continue the session. So next, slowly we will add the installation, all the things. So today, third demo, guys. So tomorrow onwards, maybe link is going to be changing. So if you want to continue, you can make it the registration. So, and the people who registered, those people will get the materials, all the things day by day, every day after the session is over. Okay, guys. Next, to developing the APIs, guys, we can use JSON related syntaxes and we can use XML based syntaxes, guys. So simply RESTful based services we have and the SOAP based services we have, guys. So what types of services we have for developing the APIs means so RESTful based services we have, SOAP based services we have, guys. So olden days people are using SOAP based services more and more. So a lot of people are using SOAP based services, but nowadays all people are using RESTful based services only. So why SOAP based APIs are not getting popularity nowadays? Why RESTful based APIs are getting the popularity nowadays? So this question is very important. For that we have a reason. So we can discussing about those all things. Simply we have different types of web services, guys. So simply consider like two types. We have two types of web services. We have the two types of web services. One is soap based, guys. Soap based web services. We have two types. One is a soap based web services, and another one is restful, guys. Another one is restful based restful based web services. Restful based web services. Soap based web services, restful based web services. Like we have two types of web services. Understanding? So now one by one, we will discuss this. So here you are getting one question, guys. Here we are getting one question. So why these soap based web services are not having demanding? Why RESTful based web services are having demanding? Simply, why soap based web services not having demanding, guys? Demanding nowadays, and why restful, guys? Why restful based web services having more demanding nowadays? These questions we need to have knowledge. Or else, what is the difference between soap based web services and restful based web services? This point you need to have knowledge. And next, so again, why JSON based data, guys? Why JSON based data having more demanding nowadays instead of the XML based data? Okay. Why JSON based data having more demanding, guys? More demanding nowadays. Why not XML? Simply, why not XML? So nowadays JSON based data having more demanding as compared to the XML based data. So what is the difference between JSON based data and XML based data? Simply JSON type and XML type differences we need to know it. So these all are basic things, guys. Once if you are understanding, so then we can start the installation. Up to this basic concepts, guys, the terminology related concepts. Okay, I want to discuss first one about the soap-based web services. So here, SOAP stands for first. SOAP, guys. SOAP abbreviation is simple object access protocol, guys. Simple object access protocol. Simple object access protocol. SOAP stands for simple object access protocol, guys. So this SOAP having some benefits and some drawbacks, guys. We will discuss these all things. So SOAP is always, guys, is always SOAP is always used XML based data, guys. SOAP is always used XML based data. Okay, one word answer I'm giving, guys, here. Why SOAP based web services not having demanding? Why RESTful based having demanding? Okay, for this one word answer is SOAP based web services using the XML based data, but RESTful based web services using the JSON type data, guys. So XML having some drawbacks. That's why people not using SOAP based architecture for developing the APIs. JSON having lot of benefits compared to the XML. That's why nowadays RESTful based web services or RESTful based architecture people are using for developing the APIs. So I means in this people are using JSON having benefits. That's why nowadays this is getting demanding. But in this SOAP, people are in this SOAP we are using the XML based data. XML having drawbacks. That's why we are not using to developing the APIs. This is SOAP-based services, SOAP-based architecture simply. Are you clear, guys? All the students? The basic point. One word answer. Why is SOAP not using means? In the SOAP-based services, XML-based data we are using. XML having some problem, that's why not using. Why using RESTful-based services means? In the RESTful-based services, we are using the JSON architecture data, simply JSON type data, JSON having some benefits. That's why RESTful-based services we are using nowadays. So what problems there in the SOAP? What benefits there in the JSON? So now we will discuss. So I will discuss today about the SOAP, guys. So SOAP is always used XML based data. SOAP is always used the XML based data, guys. So XML having some problems. The biggest problem of XML is a heavyweight component, guys. The biggest problem of XML is heavyweight component. The biggest problem of XML is heavyweight component, guys. Heavyweight. Simply heavyweight. The biggest problem of XML is heavyweight. Heavyweight means big structure is there, guys. Big structure is there. So XML contains, guys. First of all, XML stands for extensible, guys. Extensible, extensible markup, extensible markup language, guys. XML stands for extensible markup language. Extensible markup language. Markup language means tag-based syntaxes following. The languages which are following the only tag-based syntax, then those languages are called markup languages, guys. Markup means tag-based syntax. Which languages are following the tag-based syntaxes are called markup languages. So what are the markup languages? Examples means XML is a markup language. HTML is a markup language. Hypertext, okay? HTML, guys, hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. So only tag-based syntax is there. Tag means, guys, like this less than symbol, tag name, any tag name, and then greater than symbol, and then content we are writing here, and then close this tag name we are writing here. So open tag followed by the content and followed by the close tag. Close tag require this backslash, guys. This slash, guys, forward slash we are using here. So simply we can write open tag, close tag having this slash symbol, guys. So in between the tags we can write the content. So these kind of languages are called markup languages. In XML and in HTML, we are following the tag-based syntaxes. So whenever we are executing the program, this XML or simply HTML, guys. So every tag having its own meaning. This tag behavior applying to the content and this content display on the browser if we are using HTML. But XML is not for displaying the data. XML is for transferring the data. XML is for transferring the data between application to application. HTML is for displaying the data on the browser. For our application related data can display using HTML. So XML and HTML difference there. Okay, we can discuss later separately that. Now comes to this extensible markup language related. So here tag-based syntax we are using. So for example, like this we are writing as tag syntax. Now in XML, guys, all the tags are user defined tags only. User defined, our own names we can write. And XML tags are case sensitive. So lower letter, if you are writing tag name, we need to close the same name. Okay. But HTML tags are not case sensitive. Upper letter, lower letter combination we can use. So like some differences there, XML and HTML. So that is separate concept, not required for us right now. So discuss with XML, guys. So in XML, simply tag-based syntax we're writing, where each open tag contains the end tag. So if I want to be display the employees information, guys, see employees, so group of employees there, guys. Then employees like the writing, open tag, close tag. In this one employee, one related information I want to get it, guys. Again, employee. In this, every employee contains EMP ID, guys. Employee ID. Employee ID is 10. Then EMP ID closing, guys. Next, EMP name, guys. For example, Ramu and EMP name, guys. So like we are writing employee ID, employee name. Okay, just one more is the salary. Salary. Salary is 10,000. And then salary we are writing. Okay. So this is one employee related information. Employee object. So again one more employee. Again one more employee. 3 employees data, guys. 10, 20, Virat, 20,000, 30, and Rohit, and 30,000. Like this there, guys. So XML data, guys, like this we are writing. So open tag, close tag. Again open, close, open, close, open, close. So in this first object, this is open and close, open and close, open and close. Like this, all open tags require the close tags. So case sensitively we are writing. So this is object 1 related information. Again, object 2 related information, object 3 related information. So totally how many employees there? 3 employees there. List of 3 employees information there, guys. List of 3 employees information. So in XML, we are writing like this, guys. Whenever we want to access these fields data, these data, guys, so we need to be travel with these all things. Inside the employees, we have employee. Inside the employee, we have the employee ID. So using this, we can access this data. Next, inside the employees, we have employee. Inside the this, we have the salary. Using this salary, we can get this salary, guys. Means we are traveling in depth level, guys, to get this value, to get this value. And at the time of writing this XML object, guys, at the time of writing this XML object like this, tags we are writing. So actually our required data is employee ID 10, employee name Ramu, salary 10,000. But here see, a lot of open tags there, guys, and a lot of closing tags also there. So these all are unnecessary we are using. Unnecessarily we are using. So using this structure, guys, we are creating the XML object. This entire one we are assigning to one variable called employees object. For example, employees object. This is the object, guys. This object from one application, this is one application. So in the app one, we are creating this employee object using the XML format. Now this object we are sending to other application, guys. So this employee object simply we are sending to the another application called the app2. Okay. So whenever we are transferring the XML object from one application to another application, so more time taking compared to the JSON and more internet required to transfer, guys. When app-to-app communication we are doing, so using the XML object, more internet bandwidth required. Bandwidth means speed, guys. So for less amount of speed, less money we are spending for internet. For high amount of speed, so high amount money we are spending for internet bandwidth, guys. So simply when we are working with XML related, guys, so more internet bandwidth required. Obviously, if you are taking more internet bandwidth, then cost of the project increasing. Cost we need to spend more, guys. And because of this heavy structure, guys, because of this heavy structure, so from one application to another application, when we are sending, taking a lot of time. Okay, a lot of time taking for transferring, guys, from one app to another app. Okay, finally, this application to receiving this employee's data. Now, from this employee's object, guys, so I need to get the data. Employee ID is what, employee name is what, salary is what, like all the things we need to access separately. So, simply accessing the data from this XML object is technically called as a parsing the XML object data, guys. So, parsing the data from the XML object is taking more time. Parsing the data from XML object is taking more time. So this is also one drawback, guys. This is also one drawback. So more internet speed required, that is one drawback. I means more money we need to spend. And parsing the XML data is also taking more time. Transferring the data from one application to another application is also taking time, guys. Simply performance issues there. Understanding? And while writing the XML object data, like a heavy structure we are writing. So a lot of tag-based syntaxes we are writing. This is also one problem. Like several problems there, guys. And one more thing is, so from one application to another application, whenever we are transferring the data, we need to install one language called WSDL, Web Services Description Language, guys. Web service description language, digital language we are calling. So we need to download and install the software. Via this software, we can transfer the data. So this is also one problem when we are working with XML. So because of these all problems, guys, because of these all problems, so nowadays people are not using the SOAP-based architecture for developing the APIs. So that is the reason why people not using SOAP-based services. So whatever the problems we are facing here, there's all our benefits in the JSON. So that's why JSON is getting more demanding nowadays. So in the tomorrow session, guys, why JSON having why JSON having demanding nowadays? It means what are the benefits in JSON compared to the XML? These all things clearly I will explain. Once completing that, then I will start the installation, guys. In the tomorrow session, I will show you the installation. So without REST API, how we are developing coding. With REST API, how we are developing coding. So like projects, we will start it once installation done. So this concept I will conclude in the next session, guys. I will complete, and then further concept will start. So please do it your registration, guys, as soon as possible. If link changing, then you are unable to join the session. And very less amount only you are spending for railing this REST API, guys. So in the market also very few faculties, guys. You can count on fingers. So one or two faculties only teaching about the REST API. For myself, I took many batches REST API related. Number of batches I took, guys, for REST API only. So don't worry. If you are interested, if you want to learn about the REST API, you can join this batch. Thank you for this day. I stop this recording. If you are having any queries, you can ask me.